Welcome back, commentary comrades, to another episode, and we're going to call this one Cyberbullying and Harassment. How far is too far? Let's first start with some idiot logic. These are things I've seen over the years dealing with this side of the internet, or just the internet in general, which seems to be a hotspot of illogical fallacies, or logical fallacies that come across in every day when you're dealing with people who lose all sense of rationale, it seems, once they click on and log onto the internet. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the reason and logic that gets spewed on the internet is reason and logic that most of these people would never live by in real life. They pretend that they would, but if you look at their history and their records, they wouldn't, and they don't, and they haven't. But they're encouraging it on the internet, which is the opposite of who they really are. But we see that a lot on the internet. We see a lot of deceptive people and deceptive practices that take place. And the ones who suffer the most are the ones who already have mental issues, and they're indulging in this stuff. You know, but let's just go in order here. Harsh words justify retaliatory actions. So by that logic, if you're walking down the street and someone comes up to you and says, "You're ugly and your mama ugly too," and then you whip out a pew pew and you pew pew them in the face, you were justified, right? Because you had to defend yourself from being called ugly, and you had to defend your mama from being called ugly. So that was self-defense. So you're not going to jail, right? You're not going to prison for life, right? Wrong. So let's stop with all of this illogical, illegal stuff that people are putting out on the internet. Like, what kind of mentality do you have? Because if you say you can't control how someone responds, that goes for any response, even one as extreme as pew-pewing someone because they call you or your mom or your kids ugly. That's what that means. But in the court of law, that's not going to hold up. You don't have to go to law school. You don't have to be a lawyer to know that. And this is the thing. The people who are saying this kind of stuff, they don't even live by that. I guarantee you there are people in the comments who had people in real life go back and forth with them, talk about their kids, talk about their parents. I'll bet you half of those people didn't even lay hands on that person. They might have cussed them out and walked away. They didn't lay hands on them. They didn't press charges on them. They didn't do anything. Some of them didn't even do anything. But here they are acting big and bad on the internet and encouraging someone else to act big and bad, who again, as we know, is already unhinged, mental. Here's the next one. Back and boost people who are clearly unhinged just to see how it ends for entertainment purposes. There are so many people that clearly don't care about either of the parties involved in the beef. They just want some entertainment. Let's think back to Tukey and Teef's beef. Okay? Or Ikea and Candy's beef. There were people who wanted to see them come to blows because they either hated Tukey or they hated Teef or they hated either one of those women. And there are those who just wanted some action so they could laugh and enjoy it. And in both of those incidents, things kept intensifying. It kept just escalating and escalating until finally it did come to blows for both of those parties. It did come to something physical. So we can't sit here and say, oh, it'll never go that far. It'll never go beyond the internet. We can't say that. We know in the news people have been unalived because of internet beef. We know because of the news people have taken their own lives because of internet cyberbullying and harassing. But even while knowing this, and even while witnessing it happen, not once, but twice on this side of the internet, where we have 4 content creators on this side of the internet who have actually met up and at some point got physical with each other, we have seen that happen between these 2 beefing parties on this side of the internet for 2 different parties. And we're still trying to tip the iceberg to keep egging it on. But this is the difference. That first one was man versus man. The second one was woman versus woman. What will you do when it's a man versus a woman? A man who only had to block and walk away like a man who has emotional intelligence would do. Because remember, they say we women act off emotions. We're the emotional creatures, and when we get in our emotions, we're not thinking rationally. But these days, neither are the men. They don't think emotionally rational at all. Not the ones on this side of town, anyway. All of these men react on emotions. I wonder why. Could it be because their demographics, the main people that watch and support them, are women? Whether it's Tukey, Teef, or this demon? Yeah, that might have something to do with it, because other male demographic platforms, when you look at their demographics, they have mostly men in their audiences. And those men in their audiences aren't encouraging them to beef with women as a man. These men, their whole platforms are built on trolling women. Tukey goes after all these female content creators and gets into it with them. Teef has his long-standing beef with a blogger who really wasn't trying to beef with him. Not like that, but got swept into it. Demon has had the first woman he was beefing with really heavy. Now he's beefing with this woman who he used to be cool with. It's like, do these men have nothing better to do than to get caught up in beef? Would you encourage your husband to beef with a woman on the internet? If your husband came to you and said, this woman on the internet talked about my mom, would you say, oh, no, she didn't. Go get some AI clips of her dead sister. Go get some AI clips of her disabled child. Go in there and get her. And I'm going to go to the kitchen where I belong as a woman because I don't have emotional intelligence like you do. I'm going to go in here and fix you a sandwich as a nice little snack because I'm of lesser emotional intelligence. And you're of more emotional intelligence, and you're about to go sit down and make these clips of someone's dead sister and disabled child because you have high emotional intelligence and I don't. So let me go fix a sandwich and bring it to you while you do that. Let me go fix a sandwich while you're hard at work on the internet and a woman's comments on her platform going back and forth. Let me go in the kitchen where I belong and fix you a sandwich while you get on the internet pulling up this woman's mother and family, picking at her makeup because you're a man and that's what men do and you're manly. So let me go. Absolutely not. Can we get down to the bare bones of this here? These are men whose whole platforms are mostly derived of beefing with women. And it's women encouraging them to do it. Their homeboys are encouraging them to do this. If they have any real men homeboys in their lives, they would knock them upside the head and say, what are you doing? You're on the internet arguing with a bunch of chicks? What's up with you? What's up with that, man? What are you doing? But see, these are men who have been groomed by women to respond like women and to be susceptible to suggestions from women. So that's what they're doing. And that's why their platforms will never be the likes of the other male platforms that are out there that do have a mostly male audience, that do engage in topics related to what other males would be interested in. And this is also why when these same men try to get on to those other male platforms or befriend those other male platforms or go in those other male spaces, they're out of place. See, there's a deeper thing here that no one's looking at. These men have been so emasculated, if that's the word, I think that's the word I'm looking for, to where they can't even function outside of an emotionally driven mentality like a woman. These are men who have all had men come for them at some point in their beefing with women careers, and they have backed down from every single one of those men. They have blocked them, ignored them, refused to go toe-to-toe with them. But they won't block the women. They won't ignore the women. They're going to go toe-to-toe with them. I have clips of Demon DJ backing down from men who have said equally disgusting things about him and his mother. He didn't go get their pictures of their deceased loved ones or their disabled kids. He didn't go after those men. He's going to go after a woman. It's nothing back to Tukey. When it comes to these other female content creators that he's been into it with, content creators that clearly have mental stability also and have threatened to unalive themselves. You know, it's like, as a man, why are you entertaining? Like, you don't have anything else to offer from your platform. And because they're so deeply rooted in this, they can't escape it or they risk losing their fan base. They risk losing their fan base because this is what these emotionally charged women want to see. And they're no longer just like, he can't just say, he probably used to say, well, I'm presenting this because this is what my audience is interested in. But you're not just presenting it, you're also now partaking in it. Just like the women in your comments go attack these women that they don't like, you're doing it too. Just like these women in the comments, they go troll these women that they don't like, you're doing it too. Like, you're no longer just the ringmaster facilitator or whatever that's just bringing it out there and letting them do what they do. You're doing it too. So again, your emotional intelligence is on the level of the women that you claim to be above, but you're not above them because you're indulging right along with them. And then it's the women who seem to think their reason and logic has gone out the window as well. You've got women who were okay with this demon attacking the old girl. He was going after her with the ashes, with the disabled, picking at her disabled child, wearing the racist gorilla mask, and it was okay. But now he's going after a woman that they do like, and now it's not okay. That's hypocrisy. If it was okay then, why isn't it okay now? On the flip side, you've also got the women who weren't okay when he was attacking the ashes, the gorilla mask, the little girl's disabled arm. They were not okay with that. But now that he's attacking someone they don't like, it's okay. And they're all for it. No. If it was not okay then, it's not okay now either, by any means, by any justification. But that's the emotional intelligence of a woman to lead with emotions. So because I don't like this person, even though back then I said it wasn't okay, I'm going to say it's okay now. I don't like this person, even though back then I said it was okay. I do like this current person, so it's not okay now. It's a contradiction. It's a contradiction. And it cancels out anything that they have to say in that regard. But they have people who are eating it up, going along with it. You know, so how far is too far? We've seen in real life people end up losing their lives to internet stuff. We've seen on this side, two sets of content creators come to blows over this internet stuff. And no one's going to be satisfied until there's a loss of life. That's what it seems to me. I'm just glad this demon doesn't live in driving distance, because I seriously believe he would have gotten physical by now. That's just my opinion. Allegedly. That's just my opinion. And this is another thing. They claim to be big fans of these people, but they don't even watch their full lives. Like, a lot of these people stream for hours and hours on end, and you have to have a certain stamina to watch all of that. But if you did have the stamina to watch all of it, you would see how they slowly start to reveal personal pieces of themselves. Like, this demon has said out his own mouth, I'm going to say allegedly, but I have the clips, that he has, I can't remember if he named what it was, but he does have mental issues and he refuses to take medication for it. He said that out of his own mouth. I'll bet 90% of his platform isn't aware of that. They're not aware that they're encouraging someone who's already on the verge of going over the edge at a moment's notice. They have no idea. They have no idea the fire they're playing with. and how this person's mental is so fragile it could snap and explode at any time because they have never watched like that to a 6-hour live all the way straight through to slowly hear these little snippets of insight into someone's intellect start to be divulged. They've never done that. So they don't know what they're encouraging. They don't know what they're encouraging on top of having this abnormal attachment that everyone sees and everyone knows, but they're still picking. Again, if you don't like someone and they make you mental, why are you looking at them? Why are you going to their platform? It just doesn't make sense to me. No one's going to drive me out of my mind. No one on this internet is going to drive me out of my mind. I'll delete the internet and cancel my internet subscription before I let that happen because I value my sanity. I also value my humanity. No one's going to make me turn into a monster either on this internet. I mean, God forbid, knock on wood, but no one's going to. I choose not to let that happen. But these people, they're inching to get closer and closer to something like that happening. And anyone who aided and abetted and supported and encouraged and inboxed and said, yeah, you do this, you do that, and here, I helped you make this, I helped you make that, they're going to be called to the courtroom too when it happens because you are a part of it. You are a part of it. And for those who say, oh, it's justified, they started first. What are we, 10 years old? No, it's not justified. See, that's the 10-year-old logic. He hit me first, so I hit him back. Okay, he's in trouble, and you're in trouble too, because our rules are no fighting. That's at the schoolhouse, right? You're supposed to go tell an adult. So what these people are supposed to do, if their feelings are truly hurt from being cyberbullied, which I suspect some of them just are looking for an excuse, their feelings aren't really hurt. But if they really are, and you really feel attacked and cyberbullied and harassed, why don't you go to the law? Oh, they can't. Demon DJ cannot go to the law because all the terrible things he claims have been said about his mother, he's done equally and worse. So his hands are not clean. He has no choice, quote unquote, but to take matters into his own hands, because if he goes to the law, there's a backlog of terrible things he said and done, equally perverse, more so. So his case would get thrown out of court. The law would not help him or justify him. So he has no choice but to take matters into his own hands. But the question is, how far will his own hands go? And who is going to encourage this mentally fragile person to go further and further and further? Again, we've seen 2 fights, physical fights, break out already. 2 physical things that started with internet and became physical between 4 individuals. 2026, they're pushing it. They really are. They're pushing it. The fights weren't good enough. These people want blood. These people want death. I mean, that's what it's looking like they want. Like, at what point will you be satisfied that the person you hate so much has been attacked so much and you can go on about your life and go on about your business? Because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing these same old storylines. Okay, everybody go attack this person. All right, let's go attack that. Okay, and it's not even that they're attacking, because like with me, if I have something to criticize, I criticize off of what they did or what they said. I don't have to get personal. All I need is what you did or what you said, and I can create my response based on that. I don't have to bring your kids in it. I don't have to dig up your, and as a blogger, I shouldn't anyway, and I don't, and I won't. But I can just take your own words and your own actions and prove my point based off of that. Digging up someone's dead people and disabled children and making an AI clip of them, you're not proving a point. You're not, see, if an intelligent person, this is what an intelligent person would do. They would take what the person did and expose it and expose them so the world could see who they really are. That's what an intelligent person does. But an ignorant person, a dumb person, an illogical person, an unhinged person, and the people that encourage them, because they're unhinged and illogical too, this is what they do. They go, as they say, take it to hell, the same hell that they believe in and don't want to go to, but they're doing the very things unrepentant and unremorseful that will cause them to go to hell. Imagine that. This is what they do. They go even further and worser and more evil than what was done to them. And look at what that does now. Now you're evil too. Now you've got to be exposed too. Now you've got to be stopped too. So do you see how that works? In the quest to make this person look evil and wrong and despicable, you made yourself come off evil and wrong and despicable as well. So we can't even focus on what that other person did so evil and so wrong and despicable, because we're focused on what you did that's even worse. So how do you go from trying to call out what someone else did that was so wrong and so evil and so despicable to making yourself even worse than that? That doesn't even make any sense. How is that logical? If someone does me wrong, I'm going to expose them and their wrongness while keeping myself looking innocent. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to become evil too. I'm not going to become wrong too. That doesn't even make any sense. I don't want to be viewed in an evil light. I don't want to be viewed in a wrong light. I want them to be viewed in an evil light. I want them to be viewed in a wrong light. So let me let the world know what evil they did. Let me let the world know what wrong they did. Why am I going to put myself in a position to have someone let the world know the evil that I did too, and that was worse? That doesn't even make any sense. But you've got people encouraging it. And it's like, Where are these people's brains? Your brains are supposed to develop by the time you're 25 years old. I have a feeling there was arrested development involved. There's no way a lot of these grown adults' brains develop past 15, if that. No possible way. I need to see an IQ test. I need to see a brain scan before I believe it. There is no way. These people, it's crazy. It's really crazy. And we're going to see what's going to happen. But it's not going to be anything good.